Bonjour tout le monde, bonsoir. Aujourd'hui, nous allons apprendre beaucoup des verbes réfléchis, réciproques. These are reflexive, reciprocal verbs. Well, we already know that in Lesson 2a we learned about reflexive verbs, and that indicates what one subject in the sentence does to itself. Reciprocal gives the idea of two things, right? So a reciprocal reflexive, on the other hand, expresses a shared or reciprocal action between two or more people or things. In this context, the pronoun means to each other or to one another. This is the only way in French to say to each other or to one another. Il se regarde dans le miroir. He looks at himself in the mirror. But Alain et Diane se regardent. Alan and Diane look at one another. So the se, when it's about two, with two people in the subject, being about one another or to one another. So let's look at some common verbs for this. S'adorer, love one another. S'aider, to help each other. S'aimer bien, to like one another. It's important to note that the word bien in this phrase is used regularly. And we might think bien is good, so it makes it more intense, but bien actually reduces how much you like something. So if you say, nous nous aimons, we love each other. But if we say, nous nous aimons bien, it's like saying we like each other well enough. Okay? Se connaître, to know each other. Se dire, to tell each other. Se donner, to give to one another. S'écrire, to write each other. S'embrasser, to kiss each other. S'entendre, to get along well with. S'entendre bien avec, same thing. Se parler, to speak to one another. Se quitter, to leave one another. Se regarder, to look at each other. Se rencontrer, to meet with each other, or to make an acquaintance with someone. Se retrouver, to meet each other again, like a planned meeting. Or se téléphoner, to call one another. And so we have a couple of examples. Annick et Joël s'écrivent tous les jours. Annick et Joël write to each other every day. Vous vous donnez souvent rendez-vous le lundi. Do you arrange to meet often on Mondays? So those are great examples. But an important thing to talk about is agreement. If the past participle of a reciprocal verb does not agree with the subject, when the subject is also the indirect object of the verb. So let's look at a couple of examples. Marie a aidé son frère. She helped her brother. Ils se sont aidés. So il is the same as each other, right? They and each other. And so because they and each other are plural, we're going to make aider plural. But we do not make them, who did they help? They helped each other. That is a direct object of the verb. They helped each other. And so we make them agree. But look at the next example. Elles se sont parlé. They talked to each other. This is an indirect object or an object with a preposition. And since there's a preposition in there, you know it's indirect. And in that case, there is no agreement. Elles se sont parlé. They spoke to each other. Okay.